Days of Our Lives, spoilers for Thursday, July 3rd, reveal that a fake adoption will fool Tate Black after Melinda Trask comes through with some help for Sophia Choi. Brady Black will also have a warning for Sarah Horton Kyriakis, so here's what Days fans can look forward to. First, on Thursday's Duel episode, Maggie Kyriakis will have a heated confrontation with Xander Kyriakis. Since Xander is causing a whole lot of emotional upheaval for Sarah right now, Maggie certainly isn't happy about that. As a result, Days spoilers say Maggie will rip into Xander and push him to at least straighten up for Victoria Kyriakis' sake. Meanwhile, Brady will give Sarah a pep talk, which will most likely come with advice about not surrendering to Xander's pull. Brady understands what it's like to get stuck in a toxic relationship cycle, since he's been down that road many times with Kristen DeMera. Now that Brady seems to have broken free, he may push Sarah to do the same when it comes to Xander. Although Sarah is torn about whether she wants a divorce, Brady may warn that it's her only path to real happiness. Of course, Xander isn't looking to reunite with Sarah right now anyway, so she may acknowledge that the whole thing is a giant mess, one that could get even messier if a custody feud moves ahead. As for Sophia, she'll get Melinda's assistance cooking up a bogus adoption. Days spoilers say Melinda will handle any fake paperwork that might be necessary and coach Sophia on what to tell Tate. Now that Tate has reconnected romantically with Holly Jonas, he'll be on cloud 9. It'll come as a huge shock when Sophia shows up at the door and admits she already had the baby. Sophia will lie about finding adoptive parents who wanted to take the newborn home right away. After Sophia fibs that it was a baby girl, she'll insist their daughter is now getting settled in and that she's surrounded by lots of love. Tate will have a hard time wrapping his head around all this, but he'll believe Sophia, especially since Melinda can cook up the proper documentation. Javi and Leo Stark will be caring for this newborn at the Hernandez house for the time being, so it won't take long for them to fall in love. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Sophia will give Tate updates on the phony adoption news and hope her secret stays buried, but things won't go according to plan in the coming weeks. Jaws dropped when Days of Our Lives summer preview hinted at a comeback for the late, great Stefano DiMera, played from 1982-2016 by the also late, great Joseph Mascolo. There's a reason he's known as the Phoenix, Rafe noted. No matter how badly burned in the powermonger is, he always finds a way to rise from the ashes. In fact, the indestructible villain has already returned once since he was killed by Hope, with his essence being implanted in good guy Steve. How will the Peacock soap bring Stefano back this time? Good question. Since Steve is running around Salem, and the video hints that Stefano is about to awaken from the ultimate power nap, it seems unlikely that Kayla's husband will once again be taken over by the menace to society. So who will be Stefano when he is reactivated? We actually have a few ideas about that, actors who could pick up where Mascolo left off and make their own mark on the role. Initially, we thought, nah, they can't really recast. That would be like replacing Bold and Beautiful's OG Sally Spectra or General Hospital's Luke Spencer. But then we thought, what better testament could there be to the iconic character that Mascolo created that, even years after his passing, Stefano's name remains on everyone's lips. Neither we nor the show can let go. Days of Our Lives. Sophia may not have known that she had it in her to give up her newborn, but in the July 2nd episode, she managed to do just that. They say mothers all of a sudden become superhumans and can lift cars off of babies, notes Rachel Boyd, who plays Sophia. Now the actress gets it. After ushering her son into the world, Sophia made the painful choice to leave him at the fire station. Whatever decisions she makes, she tells Soaps.com, are always coming from a place of love and wanting the best for herself and for that baby too. Though Sophia has taken drastic action to ensure that her mother and Tate don't force her to keep the baby, her POV on the matter is subject to change. Honestly, my favorite part of the story so far has been exploring how complex the situation is, Boyd says. It all boils down to the fact that she knows logically what is the right thing to do for herself and for the baby, but emotionally, being able to hold him and not knowing a family that is set up for him changes things for her. She will always have somewhere in her head, she adds, the thoughts of, what could have been. To drive home that point, Boyd kind of improvised a scene in the July 2nd episode. "I have this bear prop that is like my own personal bear," she says, "and it was given to me by somebody who I love very dearly. I had this idea of Sophia coming back to, I guess, a vessel of what could have been with the bear, and like adding this moment into the show. I wanted to acknowledge that this is a really emotional and painful thing for her," she continues, "and she will never be able to let it go. Also, just remembering that she's also just a kid, like she's 18 years old. And at the end of the day, we can all relate to love and loss and grief." Days of Our Lives spoilers suggest the soap just released its summer preview, and from the looks of it, it's going to be an explosive time in Salem from July until the end of October. From Sophia Choi's baby lie to Johnny DiMera's trial, the return of Sami Brady, and Stefano DiMera possibly being alive, fans need to brace themselves for chaos, drama, and possible a devilish comeback. Days of Our Lives preview starts with Sophia giving birth in a hotel room and vowing that she cannot let anyone see the baby. As scenes shift, Tate Black is shown asking where the baby is, while Sophia tells him the adoptive parents were there at birth and wanted to take her home right away. Tate looks skeptical, as he should be. It turns out that Sophia will leave the baby at the fire station, only for Javi Hernandez to pick up the little one and bring her to the hospital to get checked out. As scenes shift in the day's promo, Johnny's trial is spotlighted next, with a clip of E.J. DiMera and Belle Black eyeing each other in the courtroom. It looks like Belle will be the DA, looking to convict Johnny, while E.J. will defend his son. Of course, fans have already seen Jada Hunter arrest Johnny and his mugshots, but what they haven't seen is courtroom drama. Paulina Price is shown on the stand, as she tells Belle that Johnny said his father got what he deserved. Then, a clip is shown of Leo telling Javi that he tried to bribe me, as scenes shift to EJ stating that Belle has a major conflict. As the preview progresses, Rachel Black is on the stand, as another clip shows the little girl very upset as she worries that Johnny will go to prison because of her testimony. The final clip of this preview arc is Belle telling Marlena Evans that, "You know who shot EJ, don't you?" The next storyline to take center stage in the day's preview is the Kyriakis Empire, as Brady Black exclaims, with Alex Kyriakis by his side, "I've spent most of my adult life vying for this top spot, we all have." As scenes shift, Stephanie Jawson is shown as she accuses her dad, Steve Johnson, of investigating his company. Is she talking about Titan DiMera? As the promo rolls on, EJ is shown paying off Gwen Rizchesh to find out what he knows and stop him. Meanwhile, Alex questions Xander Kyriakis if there's something in those filings, while Maggie Kyriakis tells some man that she owes it to her family and Victor Kyriakis to stop him. Who is she talking to? Meanwhile, Gabby Hernandez and Tony DiMera will team up to fight fire with fire as they aim to save DiMera. On to some good news, as a clip shows Jennifer Horton Devereaux announcing the opening of the Dr. Tom Horton Free Clinic, as her husband, Jack Devereaux, watches on, and Mike Horton returns for the event. A clip of Will Horton is shown too, so he'll make a comeback at some point as well. Speaking of returns, Sami will also be back, and she'll be welcomed with open arms by Marlena. She's seen strolling by Brady's pub, along with her brother Eric Brady, as she asks, "Where does the time go?" Fans can expect to see Tate and Holly Jonas reunite, as a clip of the two kissing is shown, as Sophia tells Ariana, Ari Horton, that nothing is turning out the way she had thought it would. As the scenes shift, a clip is shown of Sophia taking pictures of a scantily clad Holly in her bed, as she's passed out, while Ari advises Sophia that instead of trying to get between the two of them, she should let go and move on with your life. Meanwhile, it seems as if Xander will also be getting busy with someone new. Gabby, of all people, and Brady, along with Sarah Horton, will catch the two kissing in the middle of the bistro. This will prompt Sarah to reach in for a kiss and lay one on Brady, right in front of Xander. Elsewhere, Chad DiMera will be kissing Kat Green, while Johnny and Chanel DiMera profess their love for each other. Alex will tell Stephanie how much he loves her, and Javi and Leo will be seen with Baby Black, as they read the letter Sophia wrote when she dropped off the baby at the fire station, stating she loves her baby with all her heart. Of course, after that, Xander is shown punching Brady out. Next, Ari and Holly will be kidnapped by the thugs after Doug Williams III and thrown in a dirty warehouse. Tate will ask what Doug knows in another clip, and the two will end up in a brawl. There's some odd Halloween fun in the mix of these clips, as a knife is shown, and Alex yells, "Look out!" while Kat falls into Chad's arms. As the scenes shift, Marlena collapses into Abe Carver's arm in the courtroom as Belle runs to her side. Marlena is then shown in the hospital as she retells a dream she had about being the queen of the night. A picture of Stefano flashes across the screen, along with an old clip of Marlena during this era. Of course, this time in her life was right before she became possessed by the devil, so will the evil one return to Salem once again, now that John Black is gone? As the scenes shift, Rafe tells Kat that there's a reason Stefano is known as the Phoenix, while Anna DiMera giggles as she tells Tony, "She claims your father is still alive," as Tony gives a nervous laugh. As the preview wraps up, Tony's voice can be heard in the background as a man in a white suit seemingly prepares something in a lab. Tony states, "It's almost time, Father." Marlena gasps as she jumps up from her bed, and the promo closes. Are you excited about what's coming in Salem? Join the conversation below. Watch your favorite soap on Peacock daily and check out this site regularly for the hottest Days of Our Lives news and spoilers. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that the soap has released a sizzling summer promo. This one has so much action and suspense. Expect clues about Stefano DiMera. Jennifer Devereaux gives a speech for the Tom Horton Clinic. Sophia Choi gives her baby away. Plus, Gwen Rischek returns to play spy games in Salem. Keep reading and let's get started. The preview begins with Sophia, who experiences labor while alone in her bedroom. Instead of calling 911, the teenager gives birth in her bed. Then, Sophia cradles the newborn in a blanket. The new mother tells the baby that nobody can find out about them. Then, a flashback shows Sophia dressed in an oversized hooded jacket lurking around a dark corner. It turns out to be the safe haven box at the fire station. At least she had the sense to do that. Later, Sophia already has a cover story for Tate Black. The teenage girl claims that the adoptive parents were with her when she delivered. In addition to that, Sophia also claims that they wanted to take her home right away. Here seems to either be a mistake or a clue. Sophia called the baby her, but later in the promo, Javi Hernandez refers to the baby as a him. Speaking of Javi, he takes the baby from the fire station to the hospital to get checked out by Kayla Johnson. Over at the courthouse, Paulina Price is on the stand. The mayor tells the court how Johnny DiMera said E.J. DiMera got what he deserved. Meanwhile, Javi tells Leo that he tried to bribe me. Back over at the courthouse, E.J. claims that Belle Black has a major conflict of interest. There is also Rachel Black, who also gets on the stand to testify. However, afterward, Rachel is full of guilt and freaks out over Johnny possibly going to prison. Later, Belle asks Marlena Evans if she knows who shot E.J. Days of Our Lives spoilers for summer to 2025 reveal that E.J. tells Gwen to find out what Steve Johnson knows and stop him. Meanwhile, Stephanie Johnson questions her father about the company he's investigating. Anna DiMera laughs as she tells Tony DiMera that she thinks Stefano is alive. Tony smiles, but it seems like he might know something. There is also a scene showing Tony and Gabby Hernandez fighting fire with arson. The sizzling summer promo also shows Maggie Horton Kyriakis gearing up for war. Jennifer speaks at the Dr. Tom Horton Clinic celebration. Will Horton and Sami Brady both reunite with Marlena. However, Marl Nia ends up passing out during Johnny's trial. When she wakes up, she tells Belle about becoming the queen of the night. Sophia takes inappropriate photos of Holly Jonas. It sounds like the old scheming Sophia is back. Just when Holly and Tate reunite, she has to come up with a new way to split them apart. Speaking of Holly, she gets kidnapped with Ari Horton. Will Doug Williams III and Tate be able to save them? The final scene reveals why Shane needs Kat at the agency. Shane explains there is a reason why Stefano is called the Phoenix, Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on Peacock to find out what is coming up next. Days of Our Lives spoilers. For Wednesday, July 2nd, suggest some interesting bombshells on the horizon. Someone has a freakout, while another opens up to a loved one, and a character brings their better half a big surprise. What's set to unravel on Wednesday's show? Time to find out. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday, July 2nd indicate that Sophia Choi will have a freakout. Delivering a baby alone will do that to someone, right? As per this week's preview, as well as the day's summer promo, Sophia is about to set a plan in motion that guarantees she'll get rid of her baby girl, without anyone knowing any different. Sophia is slated to deliver and then leave the newborn at the fire station. She'll tell Tate Black that she found a couple who wanted to adopt the baby and take the child home right away. Tate may have second thoughts about adoption, but Sophia doesn't, and she'll do all she can to help move this along. It sounds like the July 2nd episode will trigger this storyline, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next. Speaking of Baby Black, Javi Hernandez will have a big surprise for Leo Stark. The Duel summer preview shows Javi with a baby that was brought to the fire station, so is this the big surprise he brings home to his boyfriend? Will the two men end up adopting the little one? In other news, Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday reveal that Maggie Kyriakis will open up to Sarah Horton Kyriakis. Is this about Xander Kyriakis' betrayal or something else? Lastly, Steve Johnson will give Julie Williams some news. Has he located the necklace that Doug Williams III stole from her and then sold? Will it finally come back to the Horton family? There's a lot to unpack in the Wednesday, July 2nd episode of Days of Our Lives. Sophia. She did it. She gave birth alone while her family was out for dinner and a movie. She had to act quickly and took it upon herself to make a drastic next step. Meanwhile, a uniformed Javi started work at the fire station. Doug did his best to distance himself from Holly, while also getting quite the dressing down from Julie, who received good news. Plus, Sarah contemplated divorce while Holly and Tate reunited. It's still hard to believe that Sophia gave birth to a baby boy alone. The teen looked appropriately devastated physically and emotionally, however. But she had to quickly get her act together. There were decisions to make before her mother came home. And she did it. She held her baby, and then she dropped him off at the fire station, where she placed him in the safe haven box. And now, she has to piece together a plausible story that Mama Choi, Tate, Brady, and everybody else will believe. She also has 14 days to change her mind about giving up her boy. However, something tells us she's going to stick to her guns. She made a phone call, most likely to Melinda Trask, who can hopefully get her to a doctor and help her clean up her mess. Sophia did all of this while Tate and Holly reconnected in a big way. Holly invited herself over to Tate's so she could check on him, but also to tell him that she made it into the Sorbonne. But their conversation veered into relationship territory when she confessed that nothing happened with Doug III, and that she could only think about Tate. Tate felt the same about Holly, and the two kissed and reunited. At the same time, they're also afraid that something will come in and mess with their happiness. History is on their side, considering Sophia's baby story plus a kidnapping are headed their way soon. Sophia giving up her baby had another unintended effect. Javi brought the baby boy to the hospital, where he encountered Steve and Kayla. Steve couldn't bear for the baby to be placed in a less-than-ideal foster situation. As a result, Javi made a split-second decision, and on his first night as a first responder, he brought the baby home. Will Leo and Javi end up deciding to adopt when Sophia doesn't show up to claim custody of her son? Meanwhile, Steve had big news for Julie. He had a lead on Alice's necklace. Thanks to Bo, Dee, Hope, and Austin, with his forensics accounting skills, they actually found the necklace, and it's on the way back to Salem. Hallelujah! They better keep that necklace safe and sound once it gets back to town. And Julie is so done with Doug III, isn't she? When he approached her in Horton Town Square, she was unforgiving, and if she had the opportunity, she would have told Doug to stop using her late husband's name, period. What she did let him know was that he wasn't worthy of the moniker. Ouch! What did you think of everything that happened in Wednesday's episode? How about Sarah contemplating divorcing Xander and the parallels Maggie discussed with her regarding Victor? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Xander and Sarah are headed for a custody battle on Days of Our Lives. After she realized he was the one who pulverized Philip, nearly killing him, and he learned she kept the forged letter a secret from him, they split. But recently, Sarah allowed Xander to see baby Victoria briefly. But things are only just beginning as Xander has removed the kid gloves, and Paul Telfer explained what could happen next. Xander has often given in to his criminal proclivities, and Telfer told Soaps that his character has often kidnapped children over the years. There's always an option, right, of kidnapping Victoria? He mused. But he countered that Sarah and Xander want to do right by their little girl, which keeps allowing these little cracks of light into the relationship. Xander might need those rays of light eventually because he's on a collision course with darkness. He already has Melinda working for him, and he asked her to perform a Melinda Trask special. Essentially, he wants her to use every means necessary to get him full custody, meaning he won't mind if the methods aren't exactly above board. Telfer noted that as the story unfolds, Xander and Sarah will have ample opportunity to do maximum damage to each other. He stated that, however, their united love for baby Victoria helps fuel the desire to do what's best for her as a kind of break on their behaviors. The actor also explained that without Sarah, and left to his own devices, Xander is just forced to reckon with himself. That's going to create some inner soul searching for the Neanderthal-like Kyriakis, and he may have to get off his high horse to do business with Sarah. Considering he seems to be softening his stance toward Philip, it's very possible that the couple could patch things up and reunite. Days of Our Lives, spoilers for Thursday, July 3rd. Give Brady a break from listening to Kristen lecture him about Rachel by giving him the chance to lecture Sarah about Xander. Brady has never liked his cousin/uncle Xander. He'd love to see him in prison for beating up Philip. But if Philip isn't going to cooperate, well then, the next best thing for Brady would be to see Xander dumped by Sarah and forbidden from seeing his baby daughter, Victoria. And if Sarah isn't committing to the program, Brady is happy to encourage her to do whatever she has to protect herself and Victoria from Xander. For her sake, of course. Brady will be here to support her, and maybe give her some pointers. Maggie likes Xander, probably more than most people in Salem. But she is, nonetheless, Team Sarah all the way. And when Xander tries to remind Maggie how much she likes him, and how happy she was to have him as a son-in-law and her granddaughter's father, Maggie isn't there for it. She claps back, making Xander realize he may have no allies left to help with reuniting his family. While Sophia does her best to ensure their mutual futures by discussing her baby's adoption plan with Melinda, Tate is kissing up to Holly, so that his ex-girlfriend becomes his girlfriend again. So now the self-described star-crossed lovers are reunited, and they feel so good. How does Sophia feel? Oh, who cares? She's busy with her baby drama. She probably has no time to worry about normal teen stuff. They're doing her a favor, not bothering her. She should thank them, really. Got a red-hot theory about your favorite soap storyline? Email news@soaphub.com. Yours could be our next hot topic. Days of Our Lives, spoilers photos for the July 3rd, 225 episode, tease the fate of Sophia and Tate's newborn baby. It's Javi's first day at the Salem Fire Department, and it's going to be a big one. After some well wishes from Leo, he'll quickly discover a baby left at the station. Now that Sophia gave birth and mysteriously took wound up without the baby, it's easy to assume the baby boy Javi finds is Sophia and Tate's. When Javi takes the baby home, it looks like he and Leo may become pseudo-dads to the orphaned infant. Got a red-hot theory about your favorite soap storyline? Email news@soaphub.com. Yours could be our next hot topic. Days of Our Lives sees hot summer spoilers, including Gabby Hernandez in a steamy clinch with Xander Cook that looks like a twisted revenge hookup that absolutely enrages his estranged wife, Sarah Horton. So, Days released a brand new summer promo. It actually has some scenes going all the way into Halloween, interestingly, and it's everything that you need to know about what awesome summer storylines are coming. We're going to drop all that for you, give you all the pictures, everything you need to know. So, I'll say up front, this is a real treat because this promo is almost as good as the annual Day of Days mega promo they put out every October. There's a lot to unpack. A few things we saw recently, but most of it is material coming this week later into July into the heat of summer, as we get closer to the 60th anniversary of Days of Our Lives in November. So, the promo has Sophia Choi going into labor all by herself. That happens this week. She tells the baby, looks like it's a girl, that she can't let anyone see her. And then Tate Black is asking Sophia, "Where's their baby?" because she's obviously given birth. And she says, "The adoptive parents were with me when I gave birth, and they wanted to take her home right away." Poor Tate is shocked and confused. And of course, Sophia is lying through her teeth. Cut to Javi Hernandez in his firefighter EMS uniform, talking with Kayla Brady up at the hospital. Javi says the baby was dropped in the safe haven box at the fire station. So Sophia gave birth and dumped the baby because she was worried Tate was going to not go through with the adoption plans, and she didn't have a lawyer because Brady Black threatened Melinda Trask. It was a big mess, so Javi takes the baby home to Casa Hernandez, and he and Leo Stark read a letter that Sophia left with the baby. It was unsigned, of course, saying how giving her up was very difficult, but was done out of love. Next, we're going to get into the EJ Dimera shooting, attempted murder mystery portion of the promo. EJ and Belle Black are in court. The theme is The Truth is in Ashes. Although we saw it happen already this week, we've got Johnny Dimera being arrested by Jada Hunter and getting his mugshot done in the promo. And then Belle is going to be prosecuting the case, which is kind of awkward since the accused shooter, Johnny, is her nephew and the son of her boyfriend. We'll see if she and EJ split over this or not. In court, Mayor Paulina Price testifies that her son-in-law, Johnny, said his father got what he deserved. That is what he said. So we all know, though, that EJ wasn't shot by Johnny. The real WWPUKDB killer is likely little Rachel Black, and she's in the promo as well. Leo tells Javi that somebody bribed him. So maybe EJ is paying Leo to write an article in The Spectator shedding doubt on the case against Johnny, which is just a lot of circumstantial evidence. Although Roman Brady did turn the gun over this week, so we'll see what ballistics say. And obviously, Johnny's prints are going to be on the gun. So, the promo has EJ telling the judge that Belle has a major conflict of interest, but obviously, she's still going to get to try the case. There's a split-second scene of EJ and Belle locking lips before we see Rachel on the stand, and Belle asking her, "What happened next?" Kristen Dimera also has to deal with stress from her daughter when Rachel asks Kristen, "What if Johnny goes to prison because of me?" There's a scene that's a little blurry. It's a flashback of the night EJ Dimera was shot, and Rachel was standing in the door peeking into the Dimera living room. So, it looks like we are going to get to finally see her memory of watching Johnny and EJ fighting. Our leaker insists that Rachel shot her uncle, but doesn't remember it. So, Grandma Marlena Evans may get more info from Rachel through hypnosis, because in the promo, Belle realizes her mom knows who shot EJ. Speaking of Marlena, she passes out in court. She's leaning on Abe Carver. Belle rushes over trying to revive her mom as Johnny and EJ look on. Later, Marlena is at the hospital. Everybody's worried. Marlena had a dream about being Stefano Dimera's Queen of the Night. Talk about a blast from the past. Rafe Hernandez tells Kat Green, "There's a reason Stefano is known as the Phoenix." And Ana Dimera tells Tony Dimera she claims your father is alive, and he's kind of chuckling. So maybe they're talking about Malrena. Sounds like the grief is really getting to Doc, since Stefano is definitely dead. At least as Joseph Mascolo is definitely dead. Then we've got Xander and Philip Kyriakis in a plotline about empires combusting. Brady tells Alex Kyriakis that he spent most of his adult life vying for the top spot, and says we all have. Obviously, that's the CEO job at Titan. Also, Stephanie Johnson questions her dad. Steve Johnson about him investigating Dimera and EJ. Orders someone, looks like Gwen Rizchek, and says find out what he knows and stop him. So, she is back on July 7th, and it looks like EJ and Gwen may be co-conspirators, which is exciting. Next, Kat Green meets with ISA director Shane Donovan. This is actually the scene we already saw from not long after John Black's funeral, when Kat was asking why Shane needs her back as an analyst, And remember, he told Kat to find out where EJ got the funds to buy the hospital. Rafe has her FBI contact on the case, so Alex questions Xander about some files and if they'll cause trouble. Alex is grilling him. Xander looks troubled, and Maggie Horton-Kiriakis rants at Xander, saying she will stop him. Maggie says she owes it to her family and Victor Kiriakis' memory. Welcome to the Days of Our Lives Daily YAPP. For a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing, or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. We spent 9 months wondering where Sophia's teenage pregnancy story was headed. The one thing we knew for sure was that Sophia was one young lady who did not want a baby. She was ready and willing to have an abortion before her mother stopped her. She then spent the rest of her pregnancy trying to find the right adoptive home for her baby with no luck. For a while, we thought Johnny and Chanel would end up with the baby in a complicated adoption story. When that fell through, many fans speculated that it would turn out Tate was not the father, but we never expected the July 2nd twist that we got. Sophia is definitely sure Tate fathered her child, but she was not about to let Tate see the son she just gave birth to in her bedroom on her own.